Whether you're new to Mac or a seasoned veteran, learning how to properly manage all of the windows on your computer is one of the most important skills you can learn. If you're frustrated and overwhelmed with all of the windows that are open on your screen and you're constantly moving them out of the way, minimizing them and hiding them, trying to find the app or window you're looking for and you still can't find it, then you are in the right place. Stick around, I'll show you the right way to do it. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and in this video we're going to talk all about window management on the Mac. This is one of the most important skills that you can master and will save you tons of time and help you stay organized and focused. Make sure to stick around for my MacWhisperer Power Tip, where I'll deliver a couple of tools that will make it easy for you to get to whatever window or app you're looking for effortlessly. Let's hop on over to the computer and get started. Before we dive in learning how to manage windows, let's talk about the windows on the Mac and how they function. First off, we've got a Finder window right here. If you'd like to move a window around on your screen, click on the header bar across the top of that window and drag it into any position you like, just like that. If you'd like to resize a window, you can do that from any of the corners by clicking and dragging and positioning it any way you like. You can also go to the edges to make it thinner, or to the bottom or top to make it taller or shorter. So there are tons of ways to easily resize your window. One of the other things you should know is that most applications will allow you to have more than one window open at a time. If you're struggling in the Finder trying to move things from one file to the other, rather than doing it in one window, come up to the File menu and select New Finder Window or Command+N to open up a second window which you can position, making it easy for you to use one window and open up a folder, and then use the second window and drag things from one window over to the other rather than trying to do it all inside of one window. It's easy to open up multiple windows and most applications will let you do it. The next thing we need to talk about is the buttons in the upper left-hand corner of every window. There's three of them. The first one is the red button. The red button will close any window. Now be aware, if you're in an application, pressing the red button will not quit the application. It will only close the window. And this is important because when an application is running, it's using resources on your computer and it can slow things down. So if you're in the Music app, for example, and you're done using it and you press the red button, notice that the Music app is still open. It didn't properly quit. Pressing the red button closes windows, but it doesn't quit them. If you'd like to quit an application, you can come to the Application menu on the top left and select where it says Quit, or you can use the shortcut Command+Q. If you're good at using the dock, you can also come down to the dock and right-click on any application in order to quit from right here. Get into the habit of closing the windows you don't need, but quitting the applications you're done using so that all of your resources are free for whatever else you're doing on your computer. Right next to the red button is the orange button, which we use to minimize windows. Minimizing windows can be used to get a window out of the way and hide it on your dock. When you click it, you'll notice a small version of that window shows up on the right side near your trash can. This is helpful, but a lot of people overuse this tool, and I find many of my clients are minimizing dozens and dozens of windows, not realizing that that's not the easiest way to get around. Minimizing windows is fine on occasion, but if that's your way of getting organized, there's better tools that we're going to talk about today. Let's click on this Finder window to bring it back up on my screen. To the right of the orange button is our green button, and the green button can be used to maximize a window. It used to be that when you clicked it, it would make that window fit your full screen size, but now it does something called full screen mode, which can be really problematic and cause all sorts of issues if you don't know how to manage it. When I click on the green button, it enters into this full screen mode where I no longer have a menu bar across the top, I no longer have a dock down at the bottom, and I really can only manage one window at a time. There are tools that you can use to have more than one window full screen, but they're a little bit clunky. And in the long run, full screen mode should really only be used on specific occasions when you want to focus fully on that one window and aren't multitasking at all. If you want to multitask in full screen mode, things get really complicated because A, I don't have my menu bar, B, I don't have my dock, and when I click on another application like Safari, it's going to take me away from that full screen mode in order to bring me back to the normal screen, leaving my window isolated over here in full screen. So I strongly recommend getting out of the habit of using full screen mode. To get out of the full screen, you can bring your arrow up to the top of your menu bar and click back on the green button again, and you'll go back into a normal size screen. Why do people want to use full screen mode? Well, usually it's because they want their window to take up the full available space of their laptop. But unfortunately, going into full screen mode eliminates other tools. So let's step out of full screen mode and let's resize this window by dragging it into the top left corner and then grabbing the bottom right corner and just resizing it. Now my window takes up all the space on my screen, but I've still got my menu bar and I've still got my dock. But there's even one more easy way to resize a window. And to do that, we're going to press and hold the Option button on our keyboard. And while holding down that Option button, we're going to come click on the green button. But when I press the green button, it's not going to take me into full screen mode. Instead, it's going to open this window into its optimum size, just like this. So there are lots of ways to manage your windows without having to go into full screen mode and without having to minimize and move windows around. Now let's discover some of the best tools that you can use to properly manage your windows. The first tool is the dock. The dock is the bar that usually runs along the bottom of your screen. Some people will put the dock on the left or the right side, but I like to have it on the bottom. It's a powerful tool that stores and organizes all of the applications that you're regularly using. Whatever application is open will show up on the dock. You can tell when something's running because you'll see this dot underneath the application on the dock. This is something to look out for if you're closing windows instead of quitting applications. The dock is super functional, and I'm not going to get into all of the tools and tips about the dock. If you need to learn more about the dock, check out this video, which will teach you all about the best tools the dock offers. But in this case, the dock is a perfect tool for managing your windows, because in most cases you might have tons and tons and tons of applications open. The reason people minimize and move windows out of the way is because they need to get to something behind this window. So they'll grab this window and move it over here, and they'll grab this window and move it over here, and then they'll grab this window and they'll minimize it. And as they do this, they're moving layer by layer through all of the open screens and windows on their computer. But instead of doing that, if you jump to the application you want, you can bring that screen up front. So if I want to get into email, rather than moving all of these windows out of the way, all I have to do is come down to the dock and click on Mail. And if I'm done working on Mail and I'd like to go back to my notes, I can come down to my notes, click on them, and it opens Notes up. Or I can come over here and it'll open Safari up. But because I moved my Safari windows out of the way to get behind them, now I have to move them back. And that's one of the biggest problems with moving windows out of the way or minimizing them, which is what I call the what goes up must come down principle. If you move a window out of the way to get behind it, when you want to use that window again, you're going to have to move it back. And if you minimize the window down on your dock, you're going to have to reopen it. So it can become this frustrating dance of moving windows out of the way to get behind them and then moving them back when you're ready to work on them again. Instead of doing that, just use the dock down at the bottom to bring any application that you need up to the front, which is a really helpful tool, except when you're working with an application that has multiple windows, like Safari in this case. When I open up Safari, all the windows are all over the place. How do I get to the specific Safari window that I want without moving things out of the way and without minimizing them? Well, it's really easy to do by using the dock. Come down to that application, and instead of just clicking on it, right-click on it. And when you do, you'll see all of the open windows for that application showing up right here. This can allow me to come to whichever window I want to use and bring it right up front without moving other things out of the way. Let's do that again. I'm going to come over to Pages over here and right-click on it. Here I've got numerous documents that are currently open. Rather than opening up Pages and then trying to figure out which one I want to use, I can simply right-click and jump to exactly the window that I want without having to fight for it. That's the key trick here, is learning how to get to the window you want without moving all the windows you don't want out of the way. And the other tool that you can use for that is the window menu up at the top of every application. When you click on the window menu, down here you will see all of the windows that are currently open, including which window is in front, notated by the check mark on the left. Notice if I minimize the window by pressing the orange button and come back down and right-click on Pages, you'll notice a little diamond showing that that window has been minimized. Clicking on it will open it back up. But if you get out of the habit of minimizing windows, you won't need to do that extra step, and you can jump right to the window you want by coming to the application, right-clicking, and opening that window up. So the dock is a great tool, allowing you to quickly jump to whatever application you want and open any specific window within that application without having to move around and hunt for it. But there are other tools that you can use as well. This tool is called Command plus Tab, and Command plus Tab is a very powerful key code that you can use to quickly move between any of the open applications on your computer. To do a key code, hold down the Command button and tap the Tab key, but keep your finger on the Command button. When you do that, you'll get an overlay on your screen of all of the applications that are currently open. You can use your arrow to move to any one of them, and when you release the Command button, it will automatically open up that application. But you can also do it without using your mouse at all. Hold down the Command button and tap Tab, keeping the Command button held. Now you can tab through each of these applications. And when you find the application you want to use, release the Command button and it will open that application right up. This makes it simple to jump from any one application to any other application without even using your mouse or trackpad at all. As you get used to using the Command Tab key code and the application switcher to move between applications, there's a power tip that will make it even easier. Notice right now that we are currently in Messages. When I first opened up the application switcher, it selected Pages. I'm going to release the Command button, and that will open up Pages just like this. But if I press Command Tab again, it's going to open up the last application I was in, which was Messages. Here we go, Command plus Tab, and look, it's selected Messages. Which means if you're toggling between two applications, you don't need to press and hold the Command Tab to see what's there. You can just Command Tab and shift between your applications easily. A simple Command Tab will move you to a new application, and then you can Command Tab between those applications as well. This is a power tip that I use every day to move to the application I need, and then quickly back to where I was without even looking down at the keyboard. The Command Tab application switcher is such a powerful tool, but we're going to bundle it with another powerful key code. This key code is Command plus tilde. The tilde is the button directly above your Tab key on the left side of your keyboard. In this situation, I'm back in Safari with all of these separate windows. How do I cycle through the separate windows using my application switcher? And it's easy to do. This time, instead of pressing Command plus Tab, we're going to hold down the Command button and use the tilde key instead. Holding down Command, we hit tilde, and it immediately cycles through any of the open windows in that application. Let's hop over to Pages and do that again. Here we go. Command plus tilde moves me through all of the open Pages documents without my having to move around, minimize, or hunt for that window. Those tools are amazing, but there's even an additional tool that you can use to easily manage your windows, and this tool is called Mission Control. Mission Control is an easy tool that will automatically show you a bird's eye view of all of your open windows and applications, allowing you to just move your mouse around and open whichever one you want without using the application switcher or the dock. Mission Control is really powerful. To explore it, come down to System Settings and open up Desktop and Dock. As you scroll through this section, you're going to find tons of tools that can help you manage your windows. First off, you'll notice this section here that talks about Desktop and Stage Manager. Have you ever wanted to get to your desktop and the only way you know how to do it is move things out of the way? Well, if you have this setting turned on where it says click Wallpaper to reveal desktop always, you can click anywhere on your desktop and it will automatically hide all of the windows and show you any of your desktop files. If you don't like that function, you can always turn it off by clicking here and changing it to be only set up in Stage Manager. Scrolling down a little bit further, we're going to come to this section at the bottom, which is called Mission Control. Again, Mission Control gives you a bird's eye view of all of the open windows on your screen, making it easy for you to move between any one of them with just a simple click. Mission Control can be configured in a number of different ways. First off, make sure you've got it turned on in the right sections here. Then, let's click here on the Hot Corners button. Hot corners are a way to set up your screen so that anytime you move to a specific corner of your screen, it will automatically do a specific function. If I click right here, I can choose on all sorts of pre-configured settings for hot corners, including Mission Control. Putting mission control on my upper left corner means that when it's turned on like this, all I have to do is move my arrow to the top left, and I'll enter into mission control, allowing me to get right to whatever window I want with a single click. And you can use the hot corners to do all sorts of other functions, whether it's mission control or application windows. Application windows is another really helpful tool. Instead of doing what mission control does, which opens up all of your windows and all of your applications, application windows shows you any windows that are open in a specific application. I'm going to set my lower left corner to application windows. And now I'm going to go over to Safari where we know I've got a ton of windows open. Dragging my arrow into the bottom left corner, and all of those windows are displayed in a minimized view, allowing me to pick whichever window I want and bring it up front. Going down to that lower left corner, I can switch to another window. It's another easy way to manage separate windows within a specific application. But maybe you don't like using hot corners. I also don't like using hot corners, so you can also set up shortcuts. By clicking on this button here, you can choose what button on your keyboard will trigger mission control. For me, I've set up mission control to the right shift key. I don't use the right shift key commonly when I'm typing, so that leaves it open for me to tap on it and get right into mission control and get into whatever I need to do quickly. You can also choose a keyboard command for your application window and to get to your desktop. You'll notice I've set the application windows over to my right command key, which means if I'm in Safari and I tap my right key, there are my application windows. And I've set up my desktop for the right option button. So a simple click of my right option button and I'm right on the desktop grabbing my files and doing what I need to do. The key to this entire lesson is to learn how to go to where you want rather than moving what you don't want out of the way to get there. So whether you use the dock or the application switcher or keyboard commands or mission control, the goal is the same. Get the window you want up front without getting the windows you don't want out of the way. If you have a trackpad, you can also trigger mission control from the trackpad. To find out your trackpad settings, scroll down to the bottom of your system settings here and click on trackpad. Here, where it says more gestures, you'll see options for mission control. The default setting is to swipe up with 3 fingers, like that, and to swipe down with 3 fingers for our application windows. So both of those are another easy way for you to move your windows around without having to do it manually. You can even do it from your mouse, but I find it to be a little less effective on the mouse. Click on your mouse settings and go to more gestures and you'll see the mission control setting here, which requires you to double tap on your mouse with 2 fingers in order to open mission control. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to get into the application windows from the mouse. So if you have a trackpad, you've got a few more options, but as far as I'm concerned, I prefer the keyboard shortcuts to any of the other tools to get to your desktop, your application window, or mission control. So you've already learned all sorts of amazing tools about how to manage your windows, how to prevent yourself from minimizing and moving windows out of the way to get to the window you want. If you've already learned something powerful, give this video a thumbs up. That makes it so much easier for other viewers to find this video. And if you've got a question, a comment, or you'd like to tell me a way that you use mission control or minimizing windows to be more effective, drop it down in the comments section. I love to hear from you guys, even if it's just to say, "Hi Dylan, I like your shirt." And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? I provide amazing tips and tools for all of your Apple devices to make you more efficient and more effective when you're using your Apple technology. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notify bell so you never miss any of the content that I deliver. And now, let's move all these windows out of our way and get into the power. We've already learned about a ton of powerful tools today, from using the dock efficiently to your application switcher or mission control. Whichever one you use, it's going to make it easier for you to manage your windows. But I saved the best for last. In macOS 15 Sequoia, they've added a new tool called window tiling. And window tiling is a powerful tool that can allow you to quickly resize and move windows around so that you can always see the windows you need without other windows blocking them. To start with, let's come back down to System Settings and right back to Desktop and Dock. Scroll down towards the bottom of this screen and you're going to find this section titled Windows. In this section, you're going to find options to drag your windows into different positions in order to tile them. Let me show you what tiling looks like. Let's come on back over to Safari here where we've got all of these windows. The first window tiling tool is how to take any window and fill your screen with it. Simply grab the window from the toolbar and bring it right up to the middle top of your screen and release it. You'll notice it will automatically fill all the available space on your window. Let's try that again. I'm going to grab this and drag it right up to the top and release it. Boom! That window filled my screen easily. The next window tiling tool is how you put two windows side by side. Grab your header and move all the way to the right side of your screen and then release. When you move these windows onto the left or right side of your screen, you'll notice a small white overlay showing you where that window is going to land. Let's do it again. I'm going to grab this one and move it all the way over to the left. You see the little window overlay? When I release, both of these windows will be perfectly sized side by side so I can use two windows easily. You can even use window tiling to create 4 distinct windows on your screen that are perfectly sized. I'm going to do that by grabbing the header bar here and moving to the bottom right corner of my screen and releasing. Notice that it opened up that window in a 25% view. Now let's grab this window and move it to the top right. And we'll move this one into the top left corner and this one into the bottom left corner. By doing this, you can resize up to 4 windows to fit your screen, allowing you to navigate all of these Safari windows without them being on top of each other. Window tiling is powerful and easy to do. In addition to dragging windows to the sides and the corners in order to resize them, you can also resize them by hovering over your green button. When you do that, you'll see this pop-up that gives you all sorts of options. On the top, clicking any of these will take the window you're on and put it in that position. So let's put this window across the top of my screen just like this. Now I'm going to click on this window here, hover over the green button, and put it on the bottom half of the screen. This can allow you to move your windows around easily and efficiently. But you can even do it automatically by hovering over the green button again, and down here where it says Fill and Arrange, you'll find 4 different options. One that makes it a full screen window, just like this. One that makes it 2 windows side by side, just like this. One that gives you 3 windows, like this. And one that gives you 4 windows in a perfectly tiled square, just like this. So however you want to use window tiling, it's easy to do by dragging the windows to the side of your screen, to the corners of your screen, or hovering over the green button and choosing any of the options that you find right here. So that's what I've got for today's video, all about how to manage your windows on the Mac simply and efficiently. I hope you learned a ton, but remember, there's always more to learn. Check out this video over here for even more amazing tips about how to use your Apple products efficiently and productively. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and I'll see you in the comments.